4:13 a.m. So
Yeah.
when until the accursed sun comes up?
It'll come up in I don't know, like an hour and a half or a little less than that, something.
So you're toward fall, going toward winter, so
Yeah,
it takes longer.
the sky is going to start brightening pretty quick, but
Yeah. Okay. And so what we're going to try to do is I'm going to try to take over with the telescope that you're seeing down in the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
So this is the 11-inch RASA located in Landers, California, and it's keyed up for doing deep sky work. So we're going to hopefully start with a bunch of planetary stuff, and then if I can get my act together, do some focusing, and get this telescope operating, we'll be able to shift from, as the sun starts to take away these beautiful planets that Corey's bringing us, that we're going to shift over and actually start looking at look at some of the deep sky objects. And honestly, I have no idea what's up right now. So Dave, we will probably rely on you. And so that's the other person who has joined us tonight. That's Dave Dickenson.
yeah.
You get me for about an hour, so.
For an hour? Okay, sure.
Yeah, an hour or two. But
I know, it's like, I mean, this isn't going to be a long one. This is just like us making sure we can make all the pieces work.
Yeah.
And we can definitely not make all the pieces work.
I had a window from sunset I was just out with the Stellina telescope there. I could probably old school screen share what I was shooting.
That's
like right from the phone. I was shooting the Black Eye Galaxy Messier 64, and it came out pretty well.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and I'm doing that from downtown. That's what impresses me with this, is that it can punch through. I'm probably in one of the most light polluted areas you can imagine.
Yeah.
And that I generally don't do deep sky stuff from here.
That's incredible, man.
It can do down to. They're not cheap, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a $4,000 US telescope.
No big deal.
It's the very first telescope I've had that worked right out of the box.
Oh, really?
There was no messing with the balancing or color aligning or doing flat starts. It literally, you download the app, you bond your phone to it, you turn it on. It does all the. It almost puts me out of a job. It's like it does the aligning and you just like it's.
Wow.
It does everything on its own. It's totally automated.
Yeah, that Stellina is an amazing piece of technology. The problem is that for $4,000 you can get a pretty stunning piece of gear.
Yeah.
But then requires a tremendous amount of, hassle to get it operating.
They just updated it so you can manually point. I mean, which sounds kind of odd that before you couldn't manually point. You could only go to the stuff in their database, which was bright deep sky, but they can aim it around now.
So Corey, right now, Corey, can you give us a bit of an idea of what we're looking at with Jupiter?
Yeah, I'm actually doing some imaging of it as we speak because it's looking pretty nice. Right now we're looking at the red channel of Jupiter. So I'm using a monochrome camera, and to get like the best planetary images, you need to use a monochrome camera, and that means you don't get to see color, unfortunately, in the telescope live. But I process that color in later, because when I image, I will shoot red, green, and blue one after another, and then combine those into a color image in post-processing. So right now we're looking at the red frame, and so what I'll do is I'm actually going to try something new tonight. I'm gonna do each color, so I'm going to do red, green, and blue. But I'm going to try and focus in between each filter so I can get a nice sharp image of each color.
Is the moon still up for you? It must be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So later we can actually switch to the moon, and we'll be able to look at the moon when it's daylight here.
Mars is up, right?
Mars is up. It's low and small. It looks like a little acorn. Yeah, there's not much. I mean, you can, but it's small. Saturn is close by Jupiter right now, so that's easy. And then, the moon is nearby as well. So I just captured red. So now I'm going to switch over to the green filter where we'll actually be able to see that GRS here again. And that's a thing to note, is that the great red spot actually disappears. It disappears when you move it out of view like that, in red, because the way the filters work, you know, the brightest thing is going to be what comes through. So when you're looking at red, it's going to be, you know, like a whitish, like a lighter color on the screen. So that's basically why that happens. So now I'm going to kind of...
Yeah, but it's like up. So just for people who don't know, it's right here. I'm sort of pointing to where the great red spot is right now. So actually, Jupiter is turning, and the great red spot is going to be getting more and more in view as we watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't know if you guys remember back in the olden days, we used to try to. We could never see the great red spot. Like the time.
It always seemed like the show was like, and I would check too because usually I was doing bright targets like Jupiter and Moon.
Yeah.
It always seemed like we were just out of sync with it.
Yeah. So yeah. And this is through it's a 12-inch Ritchie Chrétien telescope.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's actually, I've got it dialed in pretty good. I've been doing a lot of planetary imaging, getting ready for opposition and everything. So it's been pretty nice actually. But yeah, I've been pretty happy with it all.
I can see some moments of good seeing there. Like it's blurry most of the time, but once in a while it kind of pops.
This is actually pretty good. I mean, this is one of the better views that you're really gonna get. You know, it's not perfectly stable. I've seen better, but when the GRS rotates a little bit more, it'll be even better. So I'm gonna switch over to the blue filter now. Do a little bit of focusing.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, you can see the spot much
it looks
better.
really dark. Yeah, it's interesting. Like
Yeah.
the red filter, you almost can't see it. But
And
there,
we'll post, like, we'll probably use this picture as the thumbnail for.
Yeah.
We'll put some links to the final picture when it's actually done, and you know, it's incredible how much better the final image looks after you've done all the processing.
Yeah.
Once you've grabbed megabytes of data and crunched it down into one picture.
Well, gigabytes, actually, like.
Gigabytes.
Yeah. Hundreds. Like when I do a full night of imaging, which means about maybe 2 to 3 hours of kind of waiting and seeing when things look good, and then shooting. That will be about 150 gigabytes, just for planets. So, I mean, it's a lot of data. It's a lot of hard drive space. Yeah.
I got a couple of questions coming in for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Ronald Minch is asking, what's the rotation speed of the red spot?
Oh, as far as how it's rotating on its own, I'm not quite certain on that. I mean,
Well, like
Jupiter,
how long does it? Like how fast does it take? Does Jupiter rotate? And then I guess we can calculate.
it's right about 10 hours, I believe, without looking it up. I'm pretty sure it's about 10
Right.
hours that it takes to come all the way around. Jupiter's, I know it's the fastest rotating planet in our solar system.
Yeah, and so
Considering how big it is, that's
and
quite
so
fast.
we would see that pass across the surface of Jupiter in in an hour. It will be probably a quarter of the way across the planet again.
As far as the rotation on itself, like as a cyclonic storm, I'm not certain on that, but I know it's been shrinking there since we've been observing it over the last few centuries. That there's some discussion about if it's going to vanish entirely in the next 50 years or so.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was coming back, wasn't it?
it seems to be bouncing back now. Yeah.
So Dave, if you were going to pick one deep sky object to try to go after tonight, what would you go after?
Right now, well, I was going to say there is in the constellation Virgo, there's a lot of galaxies. We're in the springtime. I assume your telescope is in California, right?
Yeah.
So it's West Coast, so it's right as the sun's setting, just a few hours behind you here. There's a lot of galaxies through Virgo, Leo, Ursa Major, Coma Berenices. There's one supernova, and I saw this the other night in Messier 61. That's about 12 magnitude, I think, and if it's still bright, I managed to capture it with stellina. So
It is.
probably could actually capture that one right now too. There's been a few people have seen it for it, so that might be an interesting target to hit.
The supernova?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it the other night. It's still there.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it still is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be an interesting target to bring in.
Yeah, somebody from my my local astronomy group.
It's a star in a galaxy, right?
Yeah, you'll see it as just a star in a frame, but it's I compared it with the Discovery images. Unfortunately, I didn't discover it with Stellina. It was interesting when I was doing the Whirlpool Galaxy the other night, Messier 51. If I've learned nothing else from the virtual star party, is check your images afterwards. There was a little star off the core of Messier 51 on the Whirlpool Galaxy, and as soon as I got back near the internet, I checked it. As unfortunately, for a few moments there, I thought it would be so cool to discover a supernova with this. I mean, it's not impossible to do, but it wasn't.
Is that what I'm looking at? So sorry, which galaxy should I be going after?
Messier 61.
M61. Okay.
Yes. And I can pull up pictures of it too.
Yeah, so it's the swelling spiral galaxy.
Oh, is that what it's called?
It's funny, some of the names I've seen, even with the Stellina app, there are some like the Ring Nebula and the Whirlpool Galaxy that are kind of universal, but they're getting a little creative with them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna shift the galaxy. I'm gonna shift the telescope down at the bottom. You can watch this right now. I'm gonna slew this telescope over to M61. See what happens.
Fraser, whoops. Check this out. Somebody in my local.
You can hear it. You can actually hear the telescope move.
Oh, that's cool.
Funny.
Fraser, I'm going to show you what it looks like as of earlier tonight.
Oh, you got a picture of it?
Yeah.
Dave, I have a question for you. Can you recommend a good telescope for kids?
Something like a small Dobsonian, like a 6-inch Newtonian on Dobsonian mount.
Yep.
They're a good price, and you get a good aperture. I know Orion makes some pretty decent ones. That's a good starter one to just push around and aim and just get out other. You can do the moon, you can do planets. Not a lot of troubleshooting with that. I would recommend most of the go-to and computerized ones to stay away from. To start with, because you're going to spend a lot more time, checking the polar alignment, checking the balancing, rechecking the balancing, making sure the scope's level, making sure the go-to's not pointing at the ground or doing something. It takes they're not, unless you can afford $4,000 for a scope that you can just download an app and power on in it and start showing you stuff. But
so the only problem right now is if you guys can actually see my telescope. Well, it's not my telescope. It's of course Oceanside Photo Telescope's telescope.
No, you own it, bro.
It's illuminated, which means that the light from the camera that's showing off the telescope is shining down the telescope, so it actually wrecks the light. So I actually have to turn off the light. I have to turn off the camera if I want to actually be able to take some images. Whenever, if we can see down the barrel of the telescope, then I have to turn off, so we can't look at the telescope.
That's okay. It's all right.
And the wind is still pretty high in Landers. It's about 23 kilometers an hour, which is right in the danger zone for what this telescope can handle. It's a little too fast. I'm a little nervous about the speed right now.
okay, I got bigger viewers now. You check the weather there at the remote site.
Yeah, it's perfectly clear. It's just that right now the wind speed's been really high during the day, and then it sort of settles down at night. So it's every hour that goes by, the wind speed is going to come down and down and down. So how long do you want to take some images of this, Corey, and when can you shift to something else? Like, can you try to pull in some moons?
I can. Let's see. I wonder where they're at. Hang on one second. Let me finish this one image run, and then I will try and show you moons. I know they're in the.
Just to warn you, right? You're gonna join me at the start party. You're gonna do bad image run.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I want to just get a couple and see what I can do here, and then we'll do that. Ooh, it's looking nice though. This is cool. So this is the green filter again. I mean, if you look, I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see like some of the swirls on the equatorial belts, like the lighter and the darker patches, and there's like a little up here. but really what you're looking for is contrast. And right now, what you can actually see, if you look, kind of watch it for a little while, you can see it pop in. It's Jupiter's upside down right now. This is the south, and this is the north. Above or below.
So.
What's that?
But you are too.
Ha! Yes. But it's also, it's the, right now it's the way the scope looks. It's on the other side of the meridian, so it's flipped. It's Jupiter is now starting to go down slowly. It's at zenith almost right now. So, but above the Great Red Spot, or just below, there's actually a light patch. So you'll see the GRS here, and then you'll see like a lighter color, and then the cloud band. So that's kind of where that swirling, is. I don't know if it's feeding it or how that works from a planetary like dynamics standpoint, but there's that lighter patch in there. And then with blue, if I can get blue is a really hard one. You have to have really good atmospheric conditions for blue to look good, but it looks the best for the GRS in general, because it's really dark. It pops out because there's no since it's red, there's not a whole lot of blue, coming through at all in the Great Red Spot itself. So if I can get that.
Fraser, there is a comet too that I was looking at that might be within reach of that telescope.
Yeah, for sure. We should definitely try and see if we can go after the comet. I mean, we'll see how much time we have. I mean, I think just going after Jupiter, Saturn. If I can get a couple of pictures out of this telescope, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Isn't
still,
Atlas
still
back?
It's still bright here, so.
Isn't Atlas back?
Atlas is gone.
It's still like 8th magnitude or so. It broke apart, but then it's. I saw Sharon Ahmad from Malaysia posted a pretty good image of it. I believe that's what I saw today.
Okay.
That it's the big one is 2020 F8 Swan, but that's currently in the early morning. Corey, it's probably a better view for you than it is up here right now.
Not anymore, even. It's almost too low and too bright for me. It's moved.
It's kind of doing that hug the horizon.
Yeah.
Its orbit is going parallel with the horizon at twilight, but I think we're going to get our best view of it here. It's going to probably be just high enough in later May, so if it holds up at 3rd or 4th magnitude, we might have a binocular comet, maybe naked eye. So.
Yeah. So now I'm grabbing the luminance frame. Luminance is probably my favorite just because it's so. It's all the colors. I mean, it's a clear filter basically over the camera. So it's just always so nice and smooth.
And you're not having to clean your scope off with a hairdryer like I used to have to do.
No, this thing is actually it's the Ritchie Chrétien design. It's for whatever flaws it may have. It's big, it's heavy, whatever. I don't have dew issues. Fraser, I see the telescope view is flickering for you every once in a while.
I just saw that,
The fix for that, I was running into that problem as well. You need to do a desktop capture and not a window capture. There's a bug in the streaming software that actually causes that flicker to happen if you do a window capture. So you need to do a desktop capture and then crop on a window and then crop it manually in OBS, and then that flicker goes away.
I am doing a desktop capture. Maybe I'm not.
If you were, you could have cropped it yourself. And when you asked me to crop it, that was my cue that you're doing a window capture, not a desktop capture.
Yeah, well, because I'm trying to get a picture of you guys in the screen as well through Zoom.
Okay. You might be able to do multiple desktop captures for the sources.
So we got one question here from Veggie T 2009. Is there any benefit to having image in other wavelengths than red, blue, green, or infrared, like focus on yellow or cyan?
Infrared, huge advantage where it always looks good. Infrared is, not always, but I mean if these colors are jumpy and bouncy and stuff, infrared is usually nice. Very sharp. It's out of the visual spectrum. You don't get the same interference that you do with the visual. Ooh, that's looking really nice now.
People have been teasing out detail, which I think is amazing, on the cloud tops of Venus using like near UV.
Yeah.
Like
ultraviolet looks cool.
Usually the rule is there's no detail on Venus, but I've seen amateurs are starting to get some detail using these UV filters, which is kind of nifty.
Well, it's really interesting too. We'll move over to Saturn just now, and then we can come back to Jupiter when the GRS is more centered. But a lot of the scientific imaging on Jupiter is actually done in methane band.
Yeah.
So, they're checking out the methane stuff with Jupiter, and I can't tell you why, but that is the most it's the ugliest image, but it's the most interesting from a science standpoint, and it's a very dark, hard to capture, hard to process, I know
about every decade or so, I think last time was 2009, is that northern equatorial belt that the Great Red Spot in will disappear. But in IR, you can still see it. It subsides down below the cloud tops. It seems to be about every decade this happens, so we're kind of probably due. It looks weird when Jupiter's missing one of its belts, but...
That's crazy. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that was 2009, I think, is the last time.
Wow.
But in what I've asked researchers, and they can't quite, they don't know why. It's like, why is it always the northern equatorial belt that disappears? It seems like the southern one is much more stable, and they don't know why exactly.
Okay.
It seems to happen. But it looks odd when you see Jupiter with there's photos of it from back in 2009 when that one belt subsides for a time.
Okay.
It would look weird if Jupiter ever loses a Great Red Spot. It would look very strange, because that's like every kindergartner, you need to draw the Great Red Spot on. That's like Saturn without its rings. So it would be strange if Jupiter did lose it. But if you look at some of the sketches from like the 19th century, it was huge. It was about a quarter size the disk almost.
Wow.
It definitely has gotten smaller.
Yeah, so you can see.
Red. I'd say it's more kind of salmon to brick color than really red when you see it at the eyepiece.
You can see here now. I think you can see.
What software is that?
This is the Celestron. It's called sorry about that. CPWI software. It's actually really, really good for running the telescope. I've been very happy with it. So I'm actually going to move over. I need to switch
That's
this.
what I thought they could do with Stellina. If you had something like Stellarium and you could hook it up, do the ASCOM drivers where you could use the planetarium program to drive the telescope, then you would have something I think that's really nifty. They seem to be very proprietary with their software and what they're not like turning it loose for a lot of amateurs to kind of manipulate or do. They seem to want to keep it set to what the software does, which
Jupiter looks so nice.
Because when you turn people loose on it, they can do all kinds of weird and wonderful things with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is a lot of companies, they invest a lot of money in the design and development of their software, because listen, the software for these telescopes, or at least the image capture and everything, it's changed, but not nearly as much as you would think. In the last several years, I'm still using a lot of the same software. The CPWI pointing software is probably one of the more recent.
I remember the very first go-tos. I had the Celestron in the 90s that I just got rid of this one, as a matter of fact, that it would tell you how many degrees you had to go, and you had to manually move and the whole thing.
Yeah.
It did work. Sometimes the alignment wasn't precise. You could get within a degree or two, and then you'd have to kind of spiral around and find your target and stuff. But yeah, I've used nearly every. This one impressed me that it just locks right dead center onto the target. It's got momentum.
There we go. There it is.
Oh, wait for it though. It's gonna get better.
It's so much like my old webcam captures. Yeah, it's like change the brightness, change the focus.
Well, with this capture software that I'm using now, I've actually got I've got it all kind of saved, so I know, for a particular planet what's going on. Let's move that so it looks nice for Fraser. Fraser gets all moany when it's not like a clean window.
Yeah, I know. Put it in the middle there, man.
Yeah. If it's not in the middle, it's not worth looking at. Yo, Saturn. You know what? It's like every time I look at Jupiter, I love Jupiter, but every time I look at Saturn, it's just like, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
I think this is.
Right. I love Saturn.
Who does? You? You can't have it now. You only get half.
It's casting its shadow back on the rings just a little.
There we go. Yeah. So like as opposition comes by, it's gonna get this shadow down here is gonna get less and less and less.
It'll start casting it straight back. I see the Cassini divisions popping right out.
Yeah, I'll make it bigger.
A little bit of surface detail there too. You gotta admit, if Saturn didn't have rings, it would be very bland looking. It's just a yellow disc. There's not a lot. It doesn't have the really pop out detail. I mean, what's interesting is you see the things in Cassini with the polar hexagon, and now I see amateur images that you can see like the parts of it on the hemisphere. And I'm surprised we didn't discover it before Cassini went by. I think maybe it was just something so arcane that we didn't really think to look for it. But you can see it on some amateur images, some of the corners of the hexagon on the top.
Yeah.
Really cool ones, so.
I've captured slight bits of that hexagon. It's tough though because you need really good conditions,
Yeah.
There you go. There it is. Yeah. Look at that. There's the Cassini division.
Yeah.
That pops right out. It's a big groove all the way around. You can see the A, B, and C rings kind of. Yeah.
What's your camera, Corey?
This is a ZWO. It's an ASI 290mm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin just dropped in.
What's up? How we doing, guys?
Hey, what's up, Dustin?
Oh, Corey, good to see you here.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Good to see you.
Dustin, you know Dave Dickenson?
I think we might have met once or twice.
Yeah, I believe so. How you doing, Dave?
You've got his book anyway.
Yes, I do.
True.
Yeah. So I didn't want to interrupt your conversation here. This is incredible for you. Look at this.
Oh.
Yeah.
A little more challenging to do this with the Rasta.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
Right now for this.
That field of view is a little wide on the Rasa, isn't it?
Yeah, Fraser's done some pretty funny attempts, though, man.
Yeah.
People were calling it sad, like SAD, Saturn.
Yeah, sad.
Aww.
Yeah. It's just not fair.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff. I'm glad you guys are doing this, man. It's the star party with no locality. The entire world is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, we started this, or Fraser started this a long time ago, and like Google picked up on it, and we were famous. We were Google famous for a while.
When Google Plus first started, I think it was 2011 or 2013. I think is when we started doing. I started doing this before I started writing for University Day. I think it's the very first thing I started doing with YouTube was Star Party.
It's a lot easier now, technology-wise, than it was back in the day because, like, we didn't have OBS. So all we could do was just have the hangout and try try to connect that way, right?
I think OBS is probably like the great invention. It's so perfect.
Yeah, it really is. And so then you can construct a screen in a way that you just couldn't do before.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Back in the day, I was using a $20 webcam just aimed through a C8 Celestron. I like took the lens off the front, super glued on an eyepiece barrel, and just had it like aimed through the telescope. And that's what we could get planets. You could get bright planets, the moon, and maybe a few bright double stars with that. Because the field of view was really like 10 arc minutes across. If that, it was not that.
Yeah. I did a similar thing. I took apart an old Logitech webcam and like ripped the lens off, and I hot glued on a 1/4-inch barrel so I could stick it in it. Remember, I was like tracking the Dob by hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna apologize, everybody. We're just gonna reminisce tonight.
Yeah. No, I'm actually shooting. I'm doing just a little bit of imaging here because it does look pretty nice. So. Yeah, geez. I mean, really, like you can see contrast in this belt here. So there's a lighter belt in the middle, and then it gets a little bit darker. So the top of Saturn is actually here. It's upside down.
I think it's the northern hemisphere turned toward us right now. I think.
Yeah. This is the north. I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer.
In 2017, and it's going slowly toward edge on again. By 2024, 25, I think it's going to be edge on.
Is it? Oh, cool. I haven't even paid attention to that part, but yeah, it's so cool.
But we still have it tipped open pretty wide right now for this year, for 2020. So.
Well, in the images, when I process the images, you can actually see the bottom of the planet below the rings. And you can kind of see it now. It's just like a little bump, you know.
I know an observing challenge. You might get this on your images, is to try to see the disk of the planet through the Cassini division.
Oh.
If you got super good seeing conditions,
wow.
I've never seen it, but maybe on the processed image you would see that little dark gap of the Cassini division. You can see the planet kind of through the ball of the planet through that.
Yeah.
Aaron's asking, can we see a galaxy or nebulae? We can. We just have to get this telescope rolling. So right now we've got the planetary scope that we're showing from Corey. It's still a little too bright to get any images out of the other telescope, but hopefully
I could attempt to screen share what I got from the Stellina one if it will work.
No. We're all right.
All right.
Yeah, I think. I'm totally covering up Stellina. There we go.
The telescope's a better view.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
You've got one in your view though. It's right behind you.
Yeah. I never get too far away from them.
You got a telescope.
Do you get nervous? Do you start shaking? Are you just like, I need a telescope?
I think we all do. We all have a telescope in our field of view right now.
I have two in my apartment, and I've got a little PST somewhere up there on a tripod. The Stellina and my usual Orion one is over there. So. Unfortunately, I got to send that Stellina back in a couple of weeks.
You gotta give that thing back.
Yeah.
Well, only if they, I don't know. You don't have to give it back.
I'm supposed to have it for a month, so it's and actually the moon just got last week. It was full moon, so I did some imaging with it. It's a little better this week than last week.
Jay Brodier is asking, and this question for you, Dustin, is there any chance the new space telescopes will broadcast like this in an open public forum?
No. I mean, if you're talking about the ones that we're working on with SpaceFab, the answer is no, and that's because the data transfer has to happen with basically, laser communication, and it can only happen at a few points as it passes the Earth. Even though it's circling the Earth every 90 minutes, it's not going to be in constant contact with the people running the scopes the way these are.
I know they get everything down in FITS files too, so it's that's something I've never. Some guys like Jason Major know are like savvy in how to process the Hubble FITS files to do the actual reprocessing of the images. Is something I'm not skilled with, but
FITS is it's actually pretty easy to work with if there's converters that will convert the FITs to like a TIFF or anything else that you can work with. All it is FITs is at its base level. It's literally a description of the data. That's like that's the most simplest way. And blue is sorry about this. Blue's a little darker. It's crap. So FITs is literally just like a list of the pixels and their values. And then the converters, they just go through and they convert it to a TIFF, or like when you edit with PixInsight or some other software that can edit FITs directly, it just does that conversion and knows exactly what it's doing. That's like the rawest way to store data ever, you know.
That's why they use it then.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, well, what's the value of this pixel in red? What's the value of this pixel in green? Or rather, with FITs, it's usually just monochrome. So
the brightness on Saturn is changing quite a bit. Is it because the sun's coming up?
No, I switched to the blue filter.
Okay.
And in blue, there's very, very little blue in Saturn. And it's a darker.
It's noticeably darker.
Yeah. And
so Corey, you do your planetary imaging with monochrome sensors?
Yeah. So I use the 290 mm, and then I have a motorized filter wheel, and so I'm actually sitting in my study, and the scope's outside, and so I'm basically are using TeamViewer to share your screen. Fraser.
Sorry, what was that?
Just I don't know if Fraser's there. Are you Fraser?
Yep.
Oh, do you use TeamViewer to use the telescope that you're using?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm using the same thing. It's just like 20 meters away rather than thousands of miles. But anyway, yeah. So I'm shooting RGB filters, and then I'll shoot luminance also, and then I'll combine it all in post.
It's a challenge with planets though, because they, like Jupiter does, a full day on Jupiter is 10 hours.
Yeah.
And so it's spinning so fast, you have to really be quick and know what you're doing with monochrome.
Yeah.
Good planetary.
Well,
the data's better. Better.
Yeah, it's way better. It's way better. All the best planetary images are done with monochrome cameras, and it is more difficult, but it's kind of that toss up, like if you want the quality, you have to put in that little bit of extra work. But once you get it going, it's actually not that hard. It's just, I mean, listen, figuring it out, the process is, planetary imaging is a beast. It's an animal on its own, and I think I've kind of done it all. I've done all the deep sky stuff. I've done wide field. I've done planetary, and I think honestly, planetary is probably the hardest, just because there's so much out of your control that you have to be on it like all the time. You've got to be ready, and I'm not expecting a lot out of tonight just because I'm not really paying that much attention. But I mean, you're constantly adjusting focus.
No, I'm just grateful that we made this actually go onto the internet. You did. That was the limits of my expectations. The fact that Dave was able to join us as well, the fact that Dustin was able to drop in and say hi, and Cody's Lab's watching right now. Hey, Cody.
It amazes me with image stacking how fast that technology has come along. I think like 2003 or 4 we started doing it, and I mean, you would see some like observatory photos of the planets that were like absolutely horrible from the 70s or 80s, but prior to having the technology to do the image stacking that we do now.
Yeah.
That were textbook photos of Saturn and Jupiter that were taken like with the Hale telescope or Palomar, that were really actually quite terrible looking.
Yeah.
I remember why I really liked having a bunch of people here on the Star Party with me, because I'm like messing with technology like crazy, which is people wondering why I'm so quiet.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that side of it. When we
there
here,
really is.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at probably 12 different screens right now. I'm looking at the telescope, I'm looking at the live stream, I'm looking at the software that's being playing, I'm looking at the results of the images that are coming down from the telescope.
And holding a conversation, right? So.
At least pretending to hold a conversation.
Right.
Watching my friends hold a conversation.
Yeah.
Corey, where's the telescope that we're seeing this Saturn image?
It's in my backyard here in Johannesburg, South Africa. So.
South Africa.
Yeah.
I saw the question just pop up. Where are these telescopes? The other one that just popped up on the bottom of the screen is in Landers, California, just outside of Joshua Tree, California. It's actually not part of this whole virtual star party. We're building a foundation for these moving forward. We're putting scopes around the world for this purpose, and those are like West Texas, those things. But the test bed for all of these that Fraser and I have been digging into now for a year or more has been my personal observatories at a club in California. And so it's nice that, right now with all of this happening, we can use those instead of Texas. But yeah, Texas is the place, and the skies there are incredible. So
That's
that's
awesome.
kind of where these are and where they will be moving forward for at least our side.
It's still really bright in the sky. And when do you find it's getting dark enough to actually shoot in Landers now, Dustin?
It's usually about this time. You have to push pretty late. Yeah, you have to push. And it's said that it was mostly clear. So if you find a patch of clouds, it's going to look really, really bright. So you might be in a patch of clouds.
Yeah, I'm seeing some. I'm seeing a few patches of clouds. I'm trying to go after just some really quick objects. I'm going to go after some star clusters and just some stars and stuff.
I put an all-sky camera out there that will show you real time what's up and where. I need to get you a link over to that.
Well, they've got one for the actual Goat Mountain.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they've got one there too.
Messier 3 is a pretty bright globular that's up right now too. If you need something just bright to grab real quick.
Oh my God, you're saying it the way I used to say it after you guys all beat it out of me.
Globular.
Oh, hey, we can mess with Fraser now. You know how he used to tell us to change and it'd be difficult and he didn't understand. Now he understands.
My next book is going to be nothing but astronomical pronunciations.
Yeah. Oh, I've been made fun of recently because I've been doing a lot of live streams with the moon and planets and stuff, and apparently now whenever I do a moon live stream, this isn't a moon live stream. This is Corey trying to pronounce crater names. So
Crater name, perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
it's like, sorry, I don't know Greek, but I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
So here, I'm just gonna throw up a shot of the beehive cluster, so you can sort of see it's still pretty washed out. You can see it's like a big halo there in the middle of the sky, and so you can see a bit of the stars, but it's still quite. I'm doing the best that I can to try and sort of pull just the stars themselves, but it's pretty bright right now. So we're still got a little ways to go until I can actually start getting some images out of this telescope.
So Fraser, have you ever actually laid physical hands on that scope, or are you still just messing with the software?
I have actually hugged this telescope. Yeah.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah. So we did a star party down in the desert there, and we did a road trip out to the telescope, and Dux was there and a bunch of other people, and we got a chance to actually see that scope right up close, which was great.
That was an epic night, man. We had the 20-inch Dob out there.
Oh wow.
And, all of us. We had a bunch of people. We were trying to bus out there, and it was a blast. That was a fun night, man. A lot of astronomy done that night.
That's cool.
So can you guys see the image?
No.
I saw it for a minute.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay, yeah. So you guys can't see it. All right.
I feel like you have a pretty wide field of view.
Yeah, it's a very wide field of view.
It's gone now, but yeah.
Yeah, it's gone now. Yeah. So
Okay.
And it's still. I'm gonna try. It's still so bright.
M44 is about a degree across, kind of. So it's like wider than full moon. So.
Yeah.
Fraser, I'm actually starting to see my sky start to brighten a little bit.
Well, let's go to the moon then before we lose your skies.
Oh no, it'll be okay. The moon I can shoot in the day because I'll shoot infrared.
But. Oh.
Yeah, like it'll look like night, but it's actually during the day. I love infrared.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
Cloud. Yeah. So that this telescope is really fast. The one that's down in the bottom right hand corner. Wonky astronomer saying it's probably too late for the comet.
Depends
I
which
can
one.
try to get a shot. I can try and get a terrible shot of the comet. What's
There's T2 pin stars should be up and visible right now.
Do you know
the coordinates?
Yeah, that's the key. I need the right ascension declination to try and get a shot of it.
Give me a moment, and I can get them.
Yeah, whatever's up.
Let's see.
Well, guys, I'm going to dive out. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. And
dude, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us and letting us use your telescope. Really appreciate it.
No, of course, anytime. I'm so glad that this stuff exists, you know. I just made a post today about how amazing it is that we get to say we are the only humans in all of human history that get to, participate in this, to get to do this, look up and actually see instead of just look up. And I think, you guys are making it happen in a bigger way. Really appreciate it, guys. And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. I'm around, Fraser, so give me a buzz if you need help.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dustin.
Some kind of weather laser, obviously.
Yeah, other than that.
Yeah. All right,
all right, guys.
Let you know how it went.
Yeah.
Thanks. See ya.
Cheers, man.
No one is able to bring the weather laser.
Why not?
Yeah, I know.
Man.
One thing that we just keep asking for. So we've now taken to calling every single trail that goes through my images a Starlink.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's probably valid.
Is that fair? Is that unfair?
Nope.
All right.
I think that's valid. Come now.
Yeah, all right.
When I was trying to shoot the supernova the other night, my first image, I got 2 satellites through. Like, I didn't even, it's like right next, it's like, seriously, 2. I don't even know what they were. I tried to look up and see if they were Starlink, but I think they were too dim for Starlink. But
We had a pretty good Starlink pass here the other night while I was out imaging too. I just happened to look up and see them.
Yeah, obviously they're super cool to see them. I mean, they're a pain to pull out of your pictures. It's not so much a problem for planetary.
yeah, no, it's not a big deal for that.
All right, give me something else to point at, Dave.
All right, I have coordinates for T2 pan stars.
Whoa, okay, this is gonna be tough. All right, let's see if I can do it.
All right, which one you want first? Right ascension, declination.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me maybe put in the location. All right. Sends a telescope manually to a location.
Oh, I still do it.
Yeah.
I do. I did this with Saturn, believe it or not.
You didn't just go click and go show me Saturn?
No.
All right.
I did use the electronic star map, but I had to actually align it the first time.
Hit me.
All right, right ascension, 8 hours and 14 minutes.
8 hours, 14 minutes.
And declination plus 75 and 18 minutes.
75. 18.
That should get you close enough because you got a pretty wide field of view. So,
Yeah.
so we won't muck around with seconds or decimals or anything like that. That should get it in the frame. It was about 8th magnitude, and I caught it as a little.
All I
patch.
want is it to be pointing away from the light.
Okay.
And
this one should be pretty high.
Above the horizon.
I think it's an Ursa Major, so it should be pretty high for you there. As long as it doesn't point at the ground.
Yeah, we've had that. I think we're okay.
I think everybody's had a go-to telescope point at the ground. But...
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, oh, right, it's the wrong season.
Yeah, it's like it's below the horizon.
Yeah, we'll try like a 30-second shot too.
Yeah, that should pull it out.
This telescope is so fast.
That's impressive, yeah, because the Stellina, you're like there for it takes about 10 minutes to start building a really decent image, kind of. And they recommend about 30 minutes, so you really can only do a couple targets a night.
Yeah.
This is looking nice. I think we should, I'm going to move it over to Jupiter because the GRS should be pretty centered right now. And things are looking pretty nice. So let's switch.
Yes. I have color.
What?
I have color.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty Come on, little internet, give me that picture. Yeah, no, we've pointed telescopes at the ground all the time. I've done it many times. Well, and often, someone's just going, someone asks on the internet, like, hey, can we see the cigar galaxy? And you're like, yeah, no problem. And you type it in, and then suddenly you're.
They haven't made a telescope that can look through the Earth yet. So.
Yeah, a neutrino telescope or something.
Yeah, that type could.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see my sky start to lighten. This is cool.
I can see it in your background here too. Yeah, it's starting to get a little daylight.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, so here's so I did a 30-second view of the comet. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's see. So you guys see my view?
Oh yeah, you got it right there. Yep, you got a little bit of a tail to it too. That's pretty nice for just 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
30 seconds.
That's awesome.
Yep, that is Comet C 2017 T2 Pan-STARRS, discovered back in.
The tail out a little better.
I think it's about as bright.
It's a pretty big tail, isn't it?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's about as bright as it's going to get. I think it just had its closest Earth passage about a week ago. This one hasn't got as much press, but
let me try a longer exposure then. I'll try a minute and see what that gets me.
Yo, the GRS is looking awesome, you guys.
Okay, all right. Whoa, hey, we're looking at my picture now.
Yeah, but look at mine. It looks like Jupiter.
That is awesome.
Oh yeah, you got the coma and the nucleus and the tail and
I'm a little out of focus again. I need to refocus the telescope. We'll do that in a second.
Yeah, there's about 4 good binocular comets right now. There's comets F8 Swan, there's Y1 and Y4 Atlas, and there's this one T2 Pan-STARRS.
All right, so where are we? Okay, there. Now we're looking at your picture, Corey.
Okay. Look at mine. So this is in luminance. That's how it's.
Yeah. So for the people who've been watching since we started, look how far the Great Red Spot has already shifted around.
Yeah. And this is quite.
It's like any part of a astronomy club meeting when you go to, and there's all the people that want to show all their slides on the screen of all the stuff they've shot. So.
Yeah.
Prashant Gupta, you're asking Gupta, what is the model of the telescope? So we actually have 2 telescopes rolling right now. The telescope that I'm using, the one that's taking the picture of the comet, is a Celestron Rasa. It's an 11-inch telescope. And the telescope that Corey's using for his planetary stuff is, and I completely forget.
It's a 12-inch unbranded GSO Ritchie Chrétien telescope.
Did you build it?
No.
Okay.
I bought it secondhand actually, but there's no brand name on it, but it's from GSO, so they make all of the mirrors, like not in the world, but many of them. So.
Rise and Brave, do you know a place that provides really in-depth guides to starting and doing astrophotography? I think I do know a place.
I know one of those. If you actually go to my website, photographingspace.com, there are like over 100 tutorials to get you started on astrophotography in lots of different ways, whether it be what we're doing now, just a lot of good information to get you started. So basically, to start from the beginning, you have to kind of know what's going on, like in the sky, what you want to capture, what you want to try, and then you just go for it. And there's a lot of information on my website at photographingspace.com. So go check it out.
Yeah. There's also a chapter in this book just on, although it's already a little out of date, on astrophotography.
What?
Yeah, that it's well, it was written like 2 years ago, so astrophotography is some of the things have changed in it slightly. The the chapter on astrophotography here goes right up to about like beginning deep sky the hardest hurdle of getting into just doing fainter deep sky astrophotography. So.
Yeah.
I mean, a book on astrophotography would be a book on its own.
Yeah. So to compress it into a chapter, that was kind of, and Corey helped me with some of the stuff in that chapter, as a matter of fact. So that was my goal, is from going from just doing bright stuff like, you know, using your smartphone to shoot the moon with your eyepiece, and then getting into deep sky stuff.
I'm going to steal the show again.
Do it.
Corey. So here's my 1 minute exposure on the comet.
Yeah, you can definitely see the tail.
Yeah. Actually, it's not much of an improvement over the 30-second view.
I noticed doing a 20-minute exposure, it was actually trailing, and I realized you were seeing the motion of the comet against the telescope was locked onto the starry background, and I noticed instead of a small smudge, it was a smudgy line. I realized actually in 20 minutes we actually saw some of the motion of the comet just from the trailing of the.
Well, you know, it's the thing with comet imaging is you actually, in order to do it like a good image of it, it's a lot of shorter exposures. So, you know, you're not going to do minutes and minutes long exposures. You're going to do a lot of short stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then stack those. And like, you know, people are like, oh, I want to take a photo of a comet. Well, if you want to do it through a telescope, it's really difficult because you have to shoot a lot of short exposures, and then you have to stack the comet, and then you stack the background stars, and you combine those two images in post. It's like, it's yeah.
We're overdue for a really bright comet, so it's hopefully Comet Swan, if it does third or fourth magnitude, that it could be, like we were talking about, it's kind of hiding in the twilight right now. So.
Yeah. I did not get a good view of it here just because it's right basically from my house, and everything, it's right over the brightest light dome in the city, so it's really...
In Y4 Atlas, the one that broke up a week or two ago, that's right in that same region too.
Oh, okay.
It's ironic, they're both kind of hovering in that same dawn. That one I've not seen yet.
I'm going to go to M13.
Okay, that's
Do
a
it.
good Hercules.
Speaking of globular clusters.
Globular.
Oh, you mean
You mean globular?
Oh, you mean globular.
Now I'm all confused.
Which is it?
I don't know which way it goes anymore.
Yeah, M13's a good one. It's one of the better northern globular clusters.
So you can see the telescope moving there.
Oh yeah.
Horizon Brave saying, I assume all of the processing and rendering means you need a pretty decent machine processor-wise?
No. No, not really.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's like a simple question, but it's a simple answer, but no, you do not need a super beefy computer. You're not crunching numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, you are, but you're not, so it's...
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe it's going to take a rendering that would take you a minute. It's going to take you 2 minutes if your machine's a little slow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not one of those hours-long video type of things.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to take
So we're actually looking... I switched over to infrared because it's starting to get quite a bit brighter in my sky.
Yeah, it's
So...
definitely worse, though.
Yeah. And the GRS here...
Let's go to the moon before you get too bright there. I mean, obviously you can view the moon in the day. You're exactly right.
Yeah. No, well, I need to... I got to do this for science, though, Fraser. I'm going to capture about 8 minutes worth of infrared.
Oh, okay.
I've actually been...
Dark enough now, so I can take over the...
Nice.
here.
Yeah, I've actually been submitting my images to planetary science online libraries that people will, like a lot of the planetary scientists, monitor the websites when people upload them because it's weird, you know, we've got all this science and everything, but we don't have constant monitoring of planets at all.
You know, we talked about before in the virtual star party that it's not out of the question. Like if there was an impact on Jupiter, we could witness it live.
Exactly.
You know, it's just a matter of, and I think it's Anthony Wesley about a decade or so ago when he found some impacts. We were all scrambling, looking through our images and video just to see if we might have caught it. Because we start thinking, it's like, I was shooting Jupiter right around that same time.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility we could see something like that.
All right, so I've got my picture of M13. Now I'm going to shift over and take a picture of M101, which is a galaxy, a big.
That's a good one too.
Spiral galaxy.
In Ursa Major, I believe.
Yeah, and I will probably have to turn off the. No, I'm tracking. Okay, never mind. Take my picture.
I was shooting M101 the other night. So
oh really? Yeah. Did you do it in 30 seconds?
No, more like 30 minutes. So
yeah.
It was just a matter of letting it build up the image. So
yeah. There we go.
I think these selenoscopes are going to be good for public outreach if a school or university could afford one, because it is something that it's a good kind of gateway to deep sky, just to kind of whet your appetite.
So I got a little wind movement on my shot of M13, but it's all right. Let me see if I can clean it up.
Oh yeah, now you get a nice central core.
Oh wow, nice.
This is always a good one. It's if it's up at a star party in the springtime, we're usually looking at it.
Yeah.
That and M3, I think, are one of my favorite globular clusters for the northern hemisphere.
Yeah. So that's M13. It's the great globular cluster Hercules. But I mean, you can see the one Omega Centauri, right?
Oh yeah. I shot Omega Centauri a couple days ago. It's amazing. I tested the polar alignment of this mount, and using this big telescope, and it's actually the field of view is too small in this telescope.
Yeah.
Because Omega Centauri is so big. It's just, I mean, it fills the view on a full frame camera.
Right around, it's late April, right around April and May from the northern hemisphere, if you're in the southern tier states, you can see Omega Centauri. I've seen it from Florida.
Yeah.
It just clears about 10-15 degrees above the southern horizon.
What's nearby? The Whirlpool Galaxy?
M51? Yeah, that's up in Ursa Major as well.
Okay, yeah.
If you get a chance, try for the supernova in M61 too.
Okay, yeah, we'll take another shot at that. Like I said, it was a little bright. I did get a shot of it, but it was pretty bright. So, okay, I'm going to go to M51. I love M51.
The Whirlpool's always cool. I had a chance to see that through the Kuiper telescope on Mount Lemmon. That's like a 51-inch. They hooked it up for visual observing when they had an open house, and we were looking at M51, and you could see like the tendrils from the little satellite galaxy that's feeding off it. It was pretty incredible to see it that close. Like it almost confuses you to look at it through a scope that big, because you're trying to get the orientation. It's like, oh, we're looking at that segment of M51, like not the whole galaxy, just that little piece.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it's this soon in the night, you've actually got to do this pretty often. Yeah. So I'll do a quick refocus so people can sort of see. And then maybe Tori's got something interesting. Or you have something interesting going on?
Do I? Always. I'm still doing infrared.
No, you're doing some 8-minute long infrared science project here, right?
Kind of. Yeah, it's just 4 2-minute captures in a row, and then I'm gonna combine those into an image and see if I can get anything to submit. But I'm almost done. So the seeing conditions aren't that great, so I'm not too.
Here is my pinwheel.
Oh.
That is nice.
Which one is that? Is that M51?
Yeah.
101.
M101.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it's small.
See if I can make it a little brighter. I hope it's bright. There we go.
What image capture software? Are you using Nebulosity?
Yeah, I'm using Nebulosity to process the images.
Okay.
So I'm capturing it with the sky, and then I'm bringing it up in Nebulosity.
Okay.
Nancy asked for the wild. Someone asked for the wild duck. I think I can do the wild duck.
I don't think it's up yet. That would be more toward morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like a nebula that's up right now?
Scutum, the Owl Nebula in Ursa Major.
Something bigger?
Well, you're talking planetaries. Most planetaries are small.
No, like a Nemesis nebula, like a.
Don't.
Is the Orion Nebula? Is the
No,
Orion Nebula
that's down toward the sun, where the sun is almost in that direction now. It's spring is galaxies up north.
I know. See, that's the thing. We're looking at galaxies right now. This telescope is so fast. I'm like, I don't have time to think. Let's just take some more pictures.
Just do it. I'll move over to the moon.
Sure, that'd be great.
Because why not? Let's see.
Oh man, this is so great. All right. I shouldn't say that when I get to see the picture before you do. There you go.
Oh, wow.
It is cool.
Yeah.
So that's a color.
So this is just a 1 minute shot.
That's a color camera then, right?
Yeah, it's a color camera.
Yeah, you're in some nice dark skies, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So give me targets, man. I need a target-rich environment.
Well, you're like
61.
yeah, M61. Totes, get on it.
Right, we're gonna look for that supernova. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be very apparent and really cool.
Okay.
Just because it's a freaking supernova. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I'll do the sombrero as well.
It's one of those.
Ooh,
just
yes.
looking at.
The sombrero.
Sombrero. Yeah.
Make it happen.
Let's ask him. How about zooming into the WOW signal area?
The wow signal.
See the aliens.
That's in Sagittarius, so yeah, that's not quite up yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually quite a vacant area.
What?
I believe it's near the core of the galaxy, but it's kind of off to the side of the plane of the Milky Way. There's not really a lot of objects there, but that's what was kind of tantalizing about it. Is it came? You would expect if we were going to get a spurious signal, it would probably come from the plane of the Milky Way somewhere.
Yeah. Are you doing the moon in visual or in your infrared again?
This is infrared. I'm gonna find the Terminator. I don't even know where the Terminator
Okay,
is.
so because we can see the telescope, I have to turn it off before I take my picture. So I'll just do that. And then shot. And then I see some other stuff. Regards for M81, Antenna Galaxy. I do a Messier tour. I can do a Messier tour in about half an hour.
Do it.
If they were all lined up in the sky at the same time.
Yeah, we just passed the season for that. Like in
Yeah.
April, usually is the
Yeah.
best time. To
So,
do a
I
Messier
mean, we will
marathon.
definitely do a Messier tour, but I think we need to do it like week by week.
That's in my first book too. That you have to do it around April, and there's an order you have to do it. Like there's some that you have to capture right away
Yeah.
before you lose them behind the sun.
Yeah.
But you can do them all in one night.
All right, we're going back to Euclid because this is pretty awesome.
Okay, Dave. Which crater is this?
Well, let me back up on the screen again. I'll have to actually pull my app
Oops.
up. I'm really rusty on my lunar geography.
Someone with the Iris Nebula. Yeah, we can do the Iris. Let me see.
That is the I don't quite know crater.
Oh, sure. I like that one.
That's a good one. Yeah. Let's see if I can dial
Looks
in.
like you're in lunar highlands. I know that much.
It's too dim. Let's make it brighter.
Iris Nebula is too low. Right now, the Iris Nebula is only 11, well, about 15,
What?
16 degrees above the horizon. I need something that's at least about 30 degrees above the
I was looking at the Black Eye Galaxy. That's got some character to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after. Like I said, I'm gonna go after the. Someone wanted M81. I like that. And
Yeah,
then,
there's a pair, the M81 and
yeah, M81 and M82. So let's do that. And then after that, I'll do the sombrero, and then we'll see where we get.
You might get M81, M82 in the same frame. That's pretty wide, so you might.
Yeah,
be able to get them
yeah, I
the
know
same.
you do. You do.
Oops.
You can see how bright it is behind Corey now.
Yeah. No, this is funny.
The design, Corey, is a way that you get a full frame view of the moon, and then you have another frame that shows the zoom in, and it shows where the box is on the full frame. If that makes any sense. That would probably be an easier way to know what crater are we looking at. It's always a matter of, in context, what region are we even looking at, right?
Yeah. Well, I can do that.
Version of the moon.
I can do that. Wow, this is crazy. The air is getting so turbulent now because the sun is starting to come up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a wobbly mess. It'll stabilize again soon, but it's funny.
So I'm now on M81, and I'll take a picture. Alright, so my M61 is here. Let's look and see if it worked. A little bit of wind. Wow, it's like the whole galaxy there.
You're M81.
Wow,
No,
this is a mess.
I think there is. Yeah, that M61 is up in the Virgo, the Virgo pole, so you can't not see galaxies by sweeping around. There's hundreds.
Yeah, there's a pile of galaxies in here. So it's a pretty tiny little galaxy, isn't it?
Yeah, there's that galaxy cluster there. Like I said, you can just drop your eyepiece in there and sweep around, and you'll see
Right, so
galaxies.
I'm just putting it up here, Dave. Maybe you can help me find my way around here. So if you can see, I've got one
Oh, yeah.
galaxy here, I got one galaxy here, I got one
Yeah.
there, one there. There's more.
Those are all smaller NGCs.
Yeah, like a whole bunch of little galaxies.
Yeah, the Virgo, the bowl of Virgo, that asterism. There's hundreds of
So
galaxies. in it.
this is where which one is, what's the supernova?
Zoom in
Okay.
if you can.
Yep.
Because you had a zoom in view. All right. There's 3 stars in a line. The one I'm seeing all the way to the left, right? Nope. Go back. Nope. Right there. That one. Nope. You were on it a second ago. That one right there is the supernova.
So this is a supernova.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know from looking at it before that's the because it was 3 in the line. That third one's usually not there.
Yeah.
That's
It's about 13th, 14th magnitude, I think.
How cool is that, man?
Well, and to think that's 23 million light years away. So when light left there weren't humans here.
So like 23 million years ago, that star blew up.
Yeah.
And it's now spreading its enriched guts throughout the universe to make life.
Alright, so we try M104. Do we know what kind it was?
I think it was a Type 1A.
Type
I'm
1A.
pretty sure it was a Type 1A. I'd have to look back through again, but
Okay, Dave, without cheating and knowing where this is, you should know this crater.
oh,
Copernicus.
No.
I was gonna say no. Okay, that was my guess too, actually.
Yeah.
'Cause it's got that central peak in it.
That's it. That's all I got.
I could just start randomly naming Plato.
No.
Aristarchus.
No.
Yeah, a couple of people are noting that that star was blue. So is that what it's about? It's like a blue color. I mean,
I don't think. I think
Yeah.
that's more just an artifact. I don't think it's actually bluish like that.
yeah, buckle up, everyone. It's galaxy season. Like that's
Oh,
what
that's-
we're looking.
That's Tycho.
Nope.
It looks a lot like Tycho. It's
No.
got that central peak in it.
This is Theophilus.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
No, because so the reason you know is I'd forgotten the name as well. So, but It's unique because it's got a central peak, but it's actually got these 3 main sections. So it's got like this one, and then this area here. And if it wasn't so dang wobbly, I mean, this is flipping. The air is really getting heavy. I wonder if I can show you my scope so I can show all the people out there how bright the sky is right now.
All right, check here. I've got my M81 and M82.
Oh, you got them in the same field.
Yeah.
Yeah. That always looks neat at the eyepiece too. If you got a wide field view.
Yeah.
You can drop the Leo triplet is like that. You can drop 3 galaxies in the same field.
Nice.
Wide field.
Yeah, so I'll zoom in on M81.
M82 has some notoriety in the Virtual Star Party Hall of Fame as well.
What was the deal with M82?
We discovered a supernova.
We didn't realize it.
Ah.
We were imaging it in talking about it actually. This is up on YouTube for posterity.
Yeah.
The night before they announced there was a supernova, and we had the supernova in the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Through at the video. It's awesome, but we missed discovery.
Yeah.
No, you did. You just didn't notice it. You didn't have time to do the blink, of the images. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, if we had, and then the next day another group of people announced it, and we went back and looked in the pictures, and we're like, yep. Yeah. Classic us. And now Dave, literally, right now, I promise you, he's examining all the stars in this galaxy. Do you want to go look at the other one, Dave, for a second?
Yeah, we don't want to miss a supernova.
Just take a quick look.
That pattern actually, no, we're not missing anything there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go back to your moon.
Dave,
Well, why are you going to destroy the moon?
I usually, it's fine lately. I've been okay with it. But
You've got the moon in your gun sights.
Yeah.
Good place to go after the Sombrero Galaxy. Yeah, we did M81.
Black Eye Galaxy M64 is pretty cool.
Okay.
I love this view of the moon we've got here, where it's like, it fades to black, like right on the Terminator with these 2 deep craters. Whoa, if I could, there we go.
That's in another rich group. The Coma Berenices has a lot of galaxies in it. That's right above Virgo.
Yeah, I like to taunt my Southern Hemisphere friends with these galaxies.
Yeah, it is
There's
a bit
galaxy
painful.
clusters in the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, look at all these.
From it.
There's actually a cluster of galaxies around M61 with the supernova.
Yeah.
But they're dim. They're not like,
In Virgo. That's what we were seeing when we were imaging. You could see all the little dim galaxies around.
yeah. And they're cool, but it's not like the nice Leo triplet style.
Yeah, they don't. There's not a lot of structure detail to them, spiral detail.
Oh, there we go. I'm starting to get focus fixed here. It's changed so much because of the temperature. That's much better. Jeez.
Fraser, I'm probably going to bail. It's way past my bedtime now, so.
Yeah, I think we're going to go for like another 20 minutes or so, and then wrap it. So here, but I want you to look at this.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, the sombrero. I'll be right back. Hang on.
Center. Yeah, that's a classic one too, because you get that dust lane that's almost edge on to us, so you can see it like bisecting the whole thing.
Well, so I hate to do this, Dave, but we are gonna have to. This is gonna have to be start time for a little while. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, it's cool. It's cool. It works.
It works. It's working like a charm. Yeah. But so, for people who don't already know, Dave Dickenson is my he's our amateur astronomy specialist on Universe Today. He's the guy who wrote the Universe Today guide to Cosmos. There you go. And he will be joining me on a regular basis, I think, as we do more of these star parties in the future. And we will be. Oh yeah, there's the new book.
In book 2, there's actually a real cover. That's not just this. This is what a book looks like in its raw photocopied state. I have it as a PDF, and I have it as this photocopied version right now. So in a month or two, I should see the actual printed copy.
Yeah.
All right, I will let you go. That's cool, though.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy.
All right, thanks, Dave. Yeah, so I mean, for people who remember the olden days, what's different now is, of course, we've got this great telescope that we can use, which is just incredible. And so you can see we have a lot higher chance of being able to have clear skies and have a telescope that's going to work really fast. Like, really fast. Like you saw, I've taken, if you think about how long it took us to take pictures back in the day, unfortunately I have to turn this off again. It took us a long time, and I can take pictures. I can take pictures every minute if I need to. So it's a whole new world now with this telescope. I think M31. It does. M31 doesn't entirely fit. Is M31 up still? It is a shot.
Sorry, guys. Okay, let's see.
Below the horizon. Yeah.
Oops, that's the wrong way.
Back to the moon.
Ah, so much better now. Okay, cool. Oh, here we go. That's what I wanted to look at. Aristarchus, we mentioned. It's like one of the brightest craters. This crater here is flattened right now because of the phase, but it's twice as bright as pretty much everything else on the moon. But that's not great a view of it right now, so we're not going to stick around.
Can you get, it's wherever the shadows are, right?
Yeah. But there's some of them that look good even when it's flat. Let's see, you mentioned... no. A lot of them you can't even...
The Black Eye Galaxy before he left.
Okay.
And he didn't stick around for it, so it's late where he lives.
Where's the... Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's such a weird... It's got that... I wish I knew... Oh, okay. This is cool. This is going to be rad. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Check this out on the top. It's not quite the Terminator, but we see this either crater edge or a mountain right on the edge.
Right there.
How cool is that? I love that stuff. I'm going to take an image of that because I can, and it's daylight. So I love daylight stuff. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, the sun's coming up, and I'm pretending like it's nighttime.
All right, someone wanted the Owl Nebula. I think I got it. People wanting what telescope I'm using? I'm using a 11-inch Rasa telescope, astrograph. And Corey is using a 12-inch
RC. Yeah.
Clearly need to just have a thing from Nightbot there that just says what we're using.
Yeah.
So people can just type in the command and request it.
Or you could just... I like to do the scrolling text on OBS.
a lot of galaxies, but
It's gonna be
I see a
dim.
big- well, I see a big blobby in the middle of my. Here, I'll show you. So is that it? That's right in the middle of my shot.
It's so small. It's hard for me to see.
Yeah.
Could-
So did I overexpose it?
Let me look up what it looks like. Owl Nebula. I forgot. It's been so long since I've seen that. Yeah, actually, that that might be it. I don't know how bright it is.
Again, probably this telescope was so fast. So I did a minute-long exposure. I'll try to see if I can exposure and see if that makes it better.
Yeah, try something. It almost looks like a star, to be honest.
That's the thing, yeah. Then overexposed to make it look like a star.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I bet it's not that bright. That's a little crazy. You'd think the stars.
And it feels like that's like electrical galaxy or something.
We don't even know. We're like, oh, there's some stuff. There's some stuff.
There's a thing. I got a picture of a thing. I
Yeah.
don't know what that is. Yeah.
We're like
Time
this.
for that.
We're discovering space for the first time.
I found space.
What is this? Let's
Wait,
name
I
it.
was looking- you know what? I was looking at M87.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at the wrong
I think you were called. I think that was actually called Fraser Beta 3.
Fraser Cain 3. M97. Boy. Okay, hold on. Alright, let me try again. M97. Apparently that M87 made a big difference. Okay. Slow there. I was only 10 Messier objects off.
Only.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture.
I can turn my telescope back on.
I'm gonna take a picture of this because this is a cool view.
Yeah, I really think that's great. A great little setup there. The fact that you can see the mountains against the
Yeah.
landscape there is incredible.
I love that. Well, you know, I'm telling you right now that the atmospheric conditions are quite poor. We've had a really good week last week of nice stable air, and now it's all of a sudden not very stable at all.
Okay. Let me take a shot. I'll do a longer shot then. Okay. Now that I know what I'm taking a picture of. Try 30 seconds. 35 seconds. Cost of those scopes? What is your telescope cost?
I don't remember. I think new. I didn't buy it new. I got it secondhand. So
Yeah.
I think new it was something like 3,000 or something.
Yeah, I think this one, I mean, doesn't really have to say, but I think this one runs in the kind of 10K range with the telescope, the camera, the
Oh,
optimizer,
yeah.
and the mount. The software bisque mount is the most expensive part of this whole telescope is that mount.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, yeah, I was talking about just my OTA because like everything, I've kind of got I've got a lot of little pieces of equipment stuck on there that everybody always asks how much it costs. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
it's an interesting question, but the thing is, it doesn't matter because you don't need to spend
No.
a lot, to get a good view. I mean, I started out with these star parties with a $500 telescope and a $50 webcam, and that's literally all I spent. I already had a computer, it was like you've got this.
To get started, I think the best way, like if you're already into photography and you have like a DSLR,
Yeah,
is get a mount that'll let you do some tracking. Like
yeah,
they're only like $100,
right.
and then you can start taking pictures of long exposure shots of Milky Way and Andromeda and things like that.
It's like, well, do you have a tripod? Well, you can already do, Milky Way astrophotography. So, oops, I'm gonna do something crazy.
Ready.
I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna go to if I can move this window. I'm gonna go to Jupiter in the daylight.
Do it.
Because it just
And you're
seems.
gonna shoot like visible light.
I'm gonna shoot infrared on Jupiter in the daylight. But still, it's during the day, so it's cool. I've never done that. If there's ever a time to do it, it's now. I'm watching my telescope through the webcam also. It's cool to see it move through a camera, even though it's like not that far away from me.
But it's good. I mean, like with yours, you can go over and give it a tap and
Yeah.
tell it to smarten up.
Yeah.
With mine, it's just too far. Okay, yeah. Believe we have the Owl Nebula.
Oh, there it is. That's the owl.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
In color, even.
Yeah. And
Which
this is a 15 seconds. So I've got a minute exposure coming down the pipe right now.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So Horizon Brave is saying, still the question, is the DSLR just literally mounted on the eyepiece or something? No. So the telescope I'm using, it has no eyepiece. So you can actually see the camera pointing out of the top of the telescope. And so the camera looks down into the telescope. So the picture bounces off the bottom mirror on the telescope and then goes up into that camera that's up right at the very top.
Yeah, I forgot that about.
Depends on your setup.
I forgot that about the Raza, that it's basically it's only for astrophotography. It's like
Yeah, you can't look at it. Unless, I mean, you could maybe stick your eyeball right there.
But you might block a lot of the light.
Yeah, with your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is actually looking pretty decent. This is daytime. Woo!
Okay.
Cool.
All right, so now my minute-long exposure is way better. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is cool. I've never taken a picture of the Owl Nebula before. All
Oh,
right.
really?
I'll let you enjoy your Jupiter here.
Oh, I'm enjoying it regardless of you showing it. It's cool.
Okay, well, here's a better shot of the Owl Nebula.
Ah, this is rad.
I wonder if that central...
That owl's beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, I like it a little zoomed out like that. Yeah, so it's like a hyperstar. It's essentially the hyperstar was people took a celestron telescope and reorganized it this way, and then Celestron said that's a good idea, but we could do it ourselves, and so that's what we did.
Right. Oh, this is cool, man. This view of Jupiter is cool. I like this. I'm gonna do some stuff.
That's it. You're no longer gonna be just a night guy. It's time to move into the
Yeah, well, listen. If you got I can't see it in the sky. Like if I went out and looked with my eye, I wouldn't be able to see this at all, because it's just too bright against the sky is too bright against the backdrop. But the fact that I can do this during the day with infrared is so cool. I mean, the sun is actually going to hit my telescope relatively soon.
So I'm going to try another one. Oh, it's probably too late. Actually, okay, I'm going to try NGC 3242. Never even heard of this option before. What's up? No, I don't want to point at the ground.
Don't point at the ground.
Yeah. It's in Hydra. Hell, Hydra. So this is a high-tech scope with a camera live. Is there such a thing as a high-tech scope? I don't think so. All telescopes are just a light bucket with
Yeah.
the sky.
Yeah, it's just a lens. What's
Lens,
one of my quotes that I like to use on all the time is just a telescope is just a big lens. That's it.
Yeah.
Flippin' big. It's big, but it's just a lens. So
Picture. See if I can get a shot of this. volcanoes on the moon?
Not active.
No, there are no volcanoes on the moon. In fact, back in the day, astronomers used to wonder if the craters were caused by volcanoes on the moon, and then the whole point, one of the discoveries made by the Apollo missions was that no, in fact, they are ancient impact craters. So they were able to figure out looking at the moon rocks that they're impact craters.
Well, a lot of the craters actually were filled up with molten rock.
Some of them, yeah. When we look at the near side of the moon, we see all these dark regions, the mare, the seas, and they're actually ancient lava flows.
Yeah, they're basalt. Is that correct?
Yeah, basaltic lava. Find another. Assuming this works, I'll find another object. Kind of, man. I've like gone through my list. This is crazy. M52, M51, done, check, checkaroo. Okay, let me see if I can get like a. Okay, maybe that wasn't the right a good object. Okay, I'm gonna turn off galaxies.
Nerds with telescopes. That's all this turns into. We're,
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
we're not even doing anything serious. We're just like pointing it around. This is literally a star party. Like, ooh, look over here, look over here, look over here.
Look at her here, look at it. Yeah, this is the star party. Yeah, you're getting the star party experience right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not only good faint. I got a bunch of little planetary nebulae I can go after.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I mean we're in unknown territory. We already got the Owl Nebula, which I didn't think we were going to get. It's 2.8 minutes across, and it's a brightness of 9.8 magnitude. So the next one I'm going to go after has an 11.3, so it's fainter for sure.
Were you able to see the Iris Nebula? Or was that not up?
No, it was below the
Okay.
horizon. There's no real bright emission nebulas right now. That's summertime. Yeah.
I'm gonna move. No, I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna look at your sky on my planetary app, and I'll tell you cool stuff if I can find it.
Well, I've got a great list of objects, but it's just there's just not a lot left. I mean, I could go after a whole bunch more globs.
Not a lot left. Ha!
Yeah.
We'll find some stuff.
Once I turn I'll turn on my supernova remnants. Can I get anything with a supernova remnant?
Okay, so you've got. Ooh.
I've got like M53. We did M13. I can do M3, but these are just another. We see one globular cluster. You see a lot.
You think? Yeah.
M68. Sure, we'll do M68. Alright, let me move to M68 globular cluster. Did you want to try Mars before or are you just going to film your... So for people who just joined us, I'll bring up a couple of objects that we saw. So, I'll close the galaxy. So there's the Owl Nebula we just saw. There's that one. And that was the Mock Owl Nebula. Okay. There is the Black Eye Galaxy.
Yeah.
We got Sombrero.
Can you see? Let's see now. Anything in Ursa Major, you're good.
M81. Yeah, I got everything in Ursa Major. M81, M82. And this is the one with the supernova in it. So this is a supernova right here. We got M51.
What about 94?
M94.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool looking galaxy. I'm looking at my telescope now. There's actually sun hitting it at the moment.
It's fine. It can take it.
Yeah. It has to. It doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, the moon's gonna come up for me in like another hour or so. So it's actually perfect. Next week's will be perfectly dark.
Yeah, it's gonna get darker earlier for you, isn't it? No, it's actually gonna later, going into
Yeah,
summer.
it's gonna get later and later and later. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
M101. There's M13 globular cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Nancy. Good night. Thanks for all your help. That was awesome. I think we were a success.
Did you get pinwheel?
Yes.
Oh.
No. What's the pinwheel?
M101. Pinwheel's cool.
M68. No, I did M101.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm just like scanning around in the sky right now to see what's big and what's cool.
Right. Yeah, there's M101. I mean, I didn't
Oh,
take
yeah.
a great picture of it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a little earlier than night.
Oh, and you already looked at Comet. Man, that's I'm jealous. Comet Pan-STARRS T2 is actually quite high for you. It's
Was that the one that I got?
yeah.
Yeah, for people who missed that, that was like the first thing I took a picture of was the Comet T2 Pan-STARRS.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back. It was a good shot too.
If you don't believe him, just ask him. He'll show it to you.
Yeah, here it is. Comet.
Yeah, so cool. That's beautiful. Which camera do you have on that right now?
I don't know.
That's
I
good.
know. Yeah, I'm spoiled.
Well, it's not yours, so it's fine. You don't have to know.
Like, that's exactly it. I don't own this telescope, right? So Dustin is like, hey, we put a new camera on the telescope. I'm like, okay, cool. That's awesome. Thank you.
He's probably like, don't you want to know which one it is? He's like, I don't really care. Does it work nice?
It doesn't matter. Can it take a picture? That's what I care about.
Is it fast?
Yeah, is it fast? That was the conversation when we were setting, like after we were sort of examining the rubble of the old star parties and why they didn't happen. It was just because we couldn't take pictures fast enough. And I'm like, it's got to be fast. And he's like, well, we can do this. I'm like, is it fast?
Well, I'm starting to wonder. You have got attention problems because I don't know.
It's not me. I'm not the one with the attention problems. It's the audience.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. It's not you. Yeah, you've just got it dialed in. You know exactly how impatient everyone is.
I'm a patient. I can, for sure. If it was just me, I'd be glad to spend all night taking one picture of a galaxy. Right? That
Yeah.
sounds like a fun TV show.
Yeah.
Let's watch data flow onto a hard drive.
It's like most times when you put a kid in front of a telescope, you spend all this time getting it lined up, and you point it at a planet and you focus it for them, and you're like, here, put your eye right there, and then the kid looks at it for like 2 seconds, and they're like, oh, that's cool, and then it's like, can I have some candy? It's just like,
So let me see if I took a picture of a bell. So again, this is an object I've never seen before, so who knows? It's a planetary nebula. It's pretty faint. I should have gone longer, but I need to stop apologizing for. Oh, I got a Starlink.
oh, nice, bam.
Oh, this is cool. It's kind of fun.
What is that?
It's a planetary nebula.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zoom in. I can't see it. It's small. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. Now, why do they call them planetary nebulas, class?
Because they look like planets, but
Very.
they're really dead stars.
Yeah. Dull, dead ones.
Yeah. All right, let me try another one. Planetary nebula Abell 36. Wait, am I taking a picture right now?
Who am I?
I got a lot of things on the go right now. Right. We don't know what this is. Is there another name for Abell 36? Yeah, I think that's the Snowball Nebula.
Okay. Kind of looks like one.
Yeah.
The name makes sense. I'll buy it. So did somebody ask for Mars? I wonder if I can...
Can you do Mars?
I don't know. See where it is.
Yes, that's cool. That's the Snowball Nebula. Right on.
I can try to do Mars. It's going to be hilarious.
Alright, I'm gonna have to. If I'm gonna go after this third planetary nebula, I mean, I love planetary nebulas. They're some of my favorite objects, but they're pretty small. So, and again, this is back to the wish list with Dustin. I'm like, it's gotta be like faster, and I've got to also be able to take shots of like really small objects, but also really fast. Can you do that?
It needs to be small. If they're small and dim,
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to be able to take...
Best if it was in space.
Can we do live video? Live video of nebula.
Live video of a nebula, yeah. Well, we were thinking about how to do that, and I think the way we do that is we do like progressive live capture.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, so you just start with, you take the picture, you just start with it, and then it just image stacks live until you're sick of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, that's enough. That's about as much. That's as good as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And that's what the Stellar is, right? They're just doing a live stack right in front of you.
That's cool. Those things are cool. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand how they work, I guess. But like, yeah, they're. I don't. The technology is amazing.
Right?
I spoke to Dave about it, and he said it was basically like an 80 millimeter refractor.
Yeah. It's an 80 millimeter refractor that requires zero thinking.
Yeah. You just like.
You take the telescope out, you turn on your phone, and it just starts taking pictures.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the 80 millimeter refractor is nice. It's like that's a good little telescope.
Yeah.
And it's got a nice camera on it, so it's a good machine. Oh, I got a little bit of wind going on here on this one. Yeah, no, that's unacceptable. It might be time to refocus this guy. But there's probably time to wrap it up. Man,
Yeah.
You gotta be sleepy.
Nah. I got up at about 4, so it's not that bad.
Okay, well, let's try for Mars, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, let me see if I can even do it. It's just past. It'll be hilarious if I can get this to work. It's gonna be a shaky blob, but we're gonna try it.
Right.
Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Which way are we going? Yep, that way.
But they're all so close. It's pretty amazing. Like seeing some pictures of Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, and the Moon all in a row right now.
Well, Mars is actually moving away from them, and then it's gonna get bigger as well. So Tanya just woke up. Thousands of people heard me say that. How many people are watching? Like 5? 10?
300.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
300 people.
Hi, Tanya.
Fraser just said hello. Okay. Now.
And she's the better astrophotographer. So.
Yeah, that's what you keep saying. I need to change this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it. This is going to be a tough one.
The sky is pretty bright.
I know. This is, where the heck is that? Oh, wait. If I just zoom in here, I should be able to do it. This is the challenge. This is like... No, this one. We need to go in.
Where's Venus right now? Yeah, I don't think I can get Venus.
Venus is super low for you.
Yeah. Maybe it would have been higher earlier if I'd been more organized. Yeah, Venus is below the horizon.
Whoops. What am I doing? Okay.
Yeah, the Orion Nebula is down on the ground. So, work on that one.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, I can see it in the guide scope. Whoa.
Is that it right there?
This is going to be wild. Okay, this is in the guide scope. Now, it should be on there. It is. I can see the histogram. And... Yeah!
Mars!
Hang on. No, I can make it look better. Give me a minute. Wow, no way. In the daylight. It's like a acorn of disgustingness. Whoa. No.
It's not your best work.
There's actually detail on there. It's just wiggly. I've gotta zoom in first, and then I'll.
Nico girl. Isn't it Nico girl, like cat girl, like the Japanese word for cat?
I have no idea.
Yeah, someone's saying it's pronounced, or is it Neko? I don't know. When you write your name down, it doesn't help you pronounce it. Neko, Nico.
Wait for. Oh, here comes. Oh, the focus did pop in for a second. What happened?
Yeah, so the Orion Nebula's down, Andromeda's down, Pleiades is down.
This is funny because, okay, so basically the thing with planetary imaging is you've got to have your telescope optics and the air be the same temperature. The problem right now is the sun is actually hitting my telescope, but it's still quite cold out because the sun just rose. So...
It's got a pretty big, like I'm seeing I'm seeing features on the surface of Mars.
Yes, you are. Here's the southern ice cap.
Yeah.
Come on, you.
It's a mess.
This is a mess, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Why didn't you start with Mars earlier? Can we do that next time?
Because Mars is boring right now because it's so small. Mars is going to get like twice this size in September and October.
Yeah, but like, then that way people will have a comparison.
It's true.
So we'll start here and then we'll go like.
Well, see, yeah, I tend to stay on a target for quite a while and like actually do stuff with the target rather than just hop around like a.
Yeah, that makes for a boring television show.
Yeah, I know.
This is why we go fast.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to do one last object, which is going to be M48, which is an open cluster in Hydra. And then I think it's time to wrap this up.
Mars in the daylight, folks.
That's not astrophotography.
No. Sure it is.
It's doing solar.
Hey, that's still astrophotography. It's just daylight. It's still in space. Just because it's during the day doesn't mean, you know. Real astrophotographers do it all day long.
I'm doing a long, slow slew here.
I want to take an image of this, but I want to try and get it as focused as I can. This is just nasty.
Oh, that's pretty low. Okay. I got a feeling that I might be taking a picture of the wall. That has happened before.
I'm sure.
That has absolutely happened before. Not taking pictures of walls. Be like, look at the telescope. It's definitely.
Ooh, it's solid. Shoot. Look at that. Look at Mars.
Yeah, I see. I think I see canals. It's funny. So Richard Grace is doing it in the comments, right? I'm shooting at f2 and you're shooting at f20. Like we are shooting at completely opposite ends of the spectrum here.
How did you know I was shooting at f20?
That's what Richard Grace said. How did he?
Wow, that's pretty good because that's correct.
You're exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I'm 2.4. I'm not actually 2.
Yeah.
2.
No, so my telescope is an f8 telescope, but I've got a 2.5x power mate on it. So, yeah, I don't know if they're looking at. Maybe they looked at one of my other images that I posted.
Oh, they just know your work.
Maybe, I don't know.
That shows it. Yes. Okay, never mind. I'm throwing that one out.
Mars is. Yeah, I've got 10 times the focal ratio of you.
Yeah. So that's the challenge. The challenge is you're shooting stuff in video live, and I'm shooting images that are long exposure, very faint objects.
This is just funny. This Mars thing is funny. This image is going to be horrible. But watch it turn out to like actually work, and then I'll just be surprised.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just going to run your image stack on it, right? It's
Yeah.
Get all the bad,
See what happens.
bad shots.
See what happens. Watch this be the best one of the night. And then I have to figure out why the audio. So it's still, I can like, everything is so quiet. Oh, it's getting all stable now. Woo!
There, Mars. Oh.
Let's
The
shoot.
ice is at the top, so the cap, the Mars, the polar ice cap is up here.
Yeah, which is actually the southern pole. And it's not water ice, that's carbon dioxide ice. Right?
It's both.
Is it?
Yeah. So what it is, it's a permanent layer of water ice on the poles, and then they're on top of that. There's a layer of carbon dioxide. And
Okay.
in the winter time on Mars, at the pole, the snow, the carbon dioxide snows.
Oh wow.
And then in the summertime, it sublimates back into the atmosphere. So the size of the ice cap changes during winter and summer, but the water ice is permanent.
Okay. That's a crazy concept.
Yeah.
Also, why we can't
So
live there.
You can see, so there's like a lot of weird stuff that happens on the surface of Mars near those polar regions, and you get these like strange like they call them like spider features on the surface of Mars, where you've got these different colors in the sand as the carbon dioxide is sublimating out. There's some really cool pictures on the surface of Mars during this springtime process.
Oh wow.
All right. I'm going to try and show this one last picture, and then we are definitely it's with morning time for you, right? This is when you pull out some coffee and get to work.
Yeah, no, I made coffee at 4:00 this morning when I started, and then I'm gonna make fresh coffee just now, and then I got to start my day job.
That's right.
Why didn't you get anything done today, Corey? Well, I was tired. Didn't sleep well.
Yeah, that's why. I was doing astronomy last night.
Yeah. Oh, this is crazy. I didn't think I'd be on Mars this long. That's impressive.
So this is just a star cluster. Maybe take a look picture here. That is the star cluster. I forget.
That's the butterfly cluster, isn't it?
That's M48. But I didn't do a super long exposure. All right, Corey. Well, we should wrap this up. Why don't you stop sharing your screen so we can see?
Oh, what? You want to see me now?
This Mars is terrible.
Come on, it's beautiful. Okay.
Well, we'll see the final picture.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah.
We'll be the judge of it there.
Okay.
Yeah. But Corey, man, it was an absolute pleasure. Look at that sunshine.
Yeah.
Just streaming in.
I mean,
finish it up. So if people want to sort of see more of what you do, where should they go? What should they do?
you can. So I'm the most active on Twitter and Instagram. So I'm the Astro Shake on both. So the Astro Shake on Twitter and Instagram. I share all the time on both those platforms. And then I've been doing my own live streams when I'm imaging planets. I've been doing a lot of planetary imaging of Jupiter and Saturn, and going to start doing Mars more as opposition approaches. So doing that through my YouTube channel, which I always advertise when I'm doing live streams on YouTube. So yeah,
So follow his YouTube channel. You see a bunch of his live stuff.
sometimes Fraser comes and joins me on there as well, and
Sometimes.
then I'm the boss and he's not the boss.
Yeah, and I'm going to show off one of your pictures here just so you can see what you do. I make this go. Let's see. Find another. Yeah, anyway, go to Astroshake. You can see his work.
And then, also, yeah, if you want to learn how to do astrophotography, I've got a website, photographingspace.com.
There you go. All right. So there's a picture of the moon in front of your face.
Is there?
Yeah. You
Okay.
can't see it, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Oh, now I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a shot.
Okay.
Awesome, man. Always a
Cool.
pleasure. And I'm sure, who knows, if people want to come and join us again next week, probably be doing this probably once a week for a little while until we sort of figure out what's the right amount of balance before people sort of get sick of it. I know I'm like a very tiny little window in the upper right-hand corner here.
Oh, there you are. Now I see you.
Yeah, let's see if this will work. Does that work? Yeah, all right.
There we go.
Yeah, so I've got Moya McTeer as my special guest tomorrow on Open Space. We've got a brand new episode of Guide to Space, the one with all the animations that you all like. That's coming out probably tomorrow, so stay tuned for that as well. So we're back in business, everyone. Virtual Star Party, Guide to Space, Open Space, it's all happening. All right, Corey, dude, thank you so much.
Cheers,
Have
man.
a great day. Get to work.
Thanks, Fraser. Bye.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah, we had 3,800 people watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
I still can't believe how Mars is actually working right now. I mean, it's crap, but it's working.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's funny.
Alright, I'm gonna shut this telescope down now. Disconnect the camera. Alright, I'm gonna log off. But,
Okay.
As soon as you post, like, process those pictures, and then we're gonna kind of package this up into a, like a promotion of what we did tonight, and then sort of run that out for people. Probably include that in like the thumbnail or something like that. So we'll figure it out.
Okay, cool. I'll see if anything
Right on,
turned
man.
out. All right, dude.
Same for me.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks again.
Bye.